Hey Stacy. Yeah, I'm sorry that my extra light meter instructions didn't get to you before you started your assignment. But thanks for getting this in. I really value students just going out there and trying this, even if they don't feel entirely informed and prepared, because it's just important to hit the ground running, you know? And the more you work with your meter, the more comfortable you're going to feel with it. So here's your finals. And then here is your contact sheet. Now, based on the way that you labeled your contact sheet, I cannot tell what images are shot in incident and what are shot with reflective. And you know, sorry about this, but as an oversight, I neglected to include in the notes for the assignment that I always want your contact sheets labeled with your exposure settings. And in this case, it would have been helpful to know if they were incident or reflective as well. So here, I don't know what your exposure settings are, and I don't know if you shot an incident or reflective for any of them, so I can't give you very much specific feedback. You are more than welcome to come in here and you know, relabel your contact sheets so that I have that information so I can give you more specific feedback, but just make sure you send me a note to let me know that you did so I see it. So, let's see. What I would expect to see, in most cases, is that an image shot with reflective metering is going to be a little bit underexposed, and an image shot with incident reading is going to be properly exposed. That's what I would expect. However, there's a lot of things that could change whether or not that actually works out, like depending on how you're using your meter, where you're standing, if you're metering in the same kind of light as your subject matter. You know, there's a lot of things that can go on. Also, if the thing that you are shooting that in reflective mode happens to be a perfect medium gray, you're going to have a very good exposure, regardless of whether or not you're using incident or meter. But like I said, I can't really tell what mode you're metering in, ever. So, you know, Stacy, if you don't mind, I'd really like you to get back in here and give me your on all of these images, please give me your exposure settings and whether or not you shot in incident or meter. Because I just can't give you much feedback other than composition. Compositionally, I would say these are okay, you know. Some of them are better than others. Probably compositionally, maybe you didn't pick the images that I would have, if that makes sense. Like, this is pretty interesting composition. This is, as well, this is pretty good. But the ones that you've given us are a little bit awkward. This thing intersecting this right here, this is kind of strange because we can't tell. It's awkward for the viewer because we can't tell if this flag is coming off of this periscope or the lamppost, and then there's this bit of house or building or something over here that's kind of visually awkward. This tree is cut off, so this one's kind of strange. Same here, like there's a very awkward intersection with this flag here and our periscope again. So, you know, just changing the angle that you shot this at would have eliminated this very bright, awkward bit of background. This is actually pretty nice. You have a nice leading line here going up there, and like little bits of interesting things for our eyes to jump up and follow around. These trees are fascinating. So this actually, I would say, this is pretty compositionally a pretty nice image. And then, you know, this one almost does it for me, but I think if I had my druthers, I'd have a deeper depth of field, because I find it problematic that my foreground here is fairly out of focus. You know, and a lot of times a viewer will forgive that, but in this case, there's something really awkward about this blocky big white wall with the periscope on it being so out of focus, and then this being so crisply in focus in the background and the midground. So that's it. That's about my take, but without any information about when you were shooting an incident and when you were shooting in reflective, I can't give you a whole lot more feedback. But if you have any specific questions about how to use your light meter, please let me know. A few things that I can tell you about using your light meter without any specific questions from you is, you know, when you're using it in reflective mode, it is, of course, giving you an exposure value that will yield a medium gray local value out of whatever it is that you're pointing it at. And so, you know, and so when I'm looking at this contact sheet, I don't see significant changes in exposure value, and I would expect to. So I guess I get the feeling that something's not quite right here. This one feels very much to me like it's shot in reflective and that you were metering the water, because the water in this image is almost a perfect medium gray. But I don't know, that's just a guess. I could be totally wrong. And then also, you know, when you're in incident mode, of course the Lumisphere is on the meter and then it's in the up position. And then you would be metering by holding your meter parallel to your camera's lens out in the scene. You know, your meter's out in the scene and you're holding it parallel to your camera's lens with the Lumisphere facing directly back towards the lens. And you have to make sure that your meter is in the same quality of light as your subject matter to get an accurate reading. Okay, that's about it. That's all I can say. Okay, thank you, Stacy.